Today's date is May 2nd, 2021. It is a Sunday, and it is rainy. And now, I want to talk about 2020. This is to follow up on the 2019 video I made. So, one thing I will add that I didn't add in the last video I made, and I think it's important. I just kind of forgot to talk about it. I forgot about it happening at the end of 2019, even though it was a significant event. And bear with me, because I had an espresso coffee, and I'm all jazzed up, so my words are a little... So after I finished the fairs in 2019, in October, in November, I went to the Amazon rainforest on a mission trip. And that was with my dad. And that was a really impactful experience in my life. I remember going, and they needed someone who could weld. And I was one of the only people that knew how to weld. I'd learned in high school. And that made me feel really good. And just the whole experience. If you've ever been on a mission trip, I would say that I think everyone should go on one. Religious or not. Go on a mission trip and go serve people. Because it really helps you appreciate what you have. And gets you to realize that our lives aren't that bad. They're really not. So, long story short, that experience was God oriented, and it made me feel like I had a purpose a little bit more than I had ever before. And I thought that was really cool, and I think God had that happen for a reason. But at the end of the year, after the mission trip, I still didn't know what I wanted to do with my life. Didn't feel like I had a purpose still. So that was that. I needed to add that. So back to the Navy, like I was talking about at the end of the last video. I decided I was going to join the Navy. And so I had to go somewhat clean. I was still drinking a lot, but I couldn't smoke. And that was really hard. That was hard for me because I enjoyed doing that. And I would say that I was also really working on a version of Mason in my head, that I was manifesting a version of Mason that I wanted to exist for the military, because, my dad always seemed like this big, bad mother trucker who would go overseas and slay the bad guys and come back, and that's what I saw. That's what I felt. That's the dad that I had, and I loved that. I was like, man, this guy's awesome, my dad. And I was like, so I have to try to be an even better version of that, because I don't want to. The bar's set. I can either get over it or... And so I really wanted to go into it with no, full steam ahead, stay out of my way. And, I was praying to God about it, but that doesn't mean that I didn't have a completely positive mindset. But I was taking that negativity and saying, well, I'm going to go kill people with it. I'm going to go do that. And that'll be my escape. And it's crazy to think about. No, I can't. I'm not going to jump ahead on the story. So, all the month of... I was still living at my dad's house. All the month of January, I was getting ready, because at the end of the month, I was going to go to MEPS. MEPS is the physical evaluation and the place where you sign up for the military. And you go there. It's in Kansas City, if you live around here. And so January 21st was when I was to go to MEPS. Like I said, I was training the whole month before that. So then January 21st comes, and this is where the story gets pretty insane, okay? So that morning, I got to the Navy recruitment station pretty early, and it was the day. The day had come. I was gonna get on the shuttle, and so I started to, I get on the shuttle, and the old man who's about to drive, he's like, "Young man, would you like a New Testament Bible?" And I was like, "No, I got my whole full Bible in my bag. I appreciate it though, thanks." And he was like, "Okay." And so when he asked me that, I was like, "God's with me. This is meant to happen. Like, the Navy was what God wanted for me. Great, perfect." And so we drive, and there's a couple other kids on the bus, and we have to pick kids up here and there. That's kind of how it works. You're picking kids up from different cities. But we drive 40 miles north up to Buffalo, which is where I grew up. And we stopped at the McDonald's. He's like, "Anybody want to get out and get some lunch?" And that was just the way my brain works. That was another reason I was like, this is meant to be. This is what God wants for me, is the Navy. And so he's like, "You can get out and go get some food if you want." And so I went inside, and I ordered a Big Mac. I've never ordered a Big Mac, like, ever. And I was like, "I'm ordering a Big Mac. This is the new Navy Mace. We eat Big Macs." And so I'm eating my Big Mac, and like I said, none of the other kids came in. But the old man came inside, the driver. And he's like, "So, young man, how'd you come to know the Lord?" And I was like, kind of just trying to enjoy my Big Mac here, pal. But when he asked me that, that was another reason I was like, okay, God's with me. Because this is the second time he's dealt with the Bible or God or religious things in general. And so I was like, well, the last couple years, since I graduated high school, I kind of haven't been really doing what I want for myself, and I've just kind of been screwing off. And but I feel like the Lord's been leading me to the Navy, and I think this is what I want to do. I feel this is where He wants me to go. And that wasn't the truth. I was just trying to justify it in my soul, in myself. It's not really what I wanted to do, but it's what I'd come to. He's like, "Wow, that's a really great story." And I was like, "Well, thanks." Thanks. And so that happened. And then we got back in the shuttle, and we took off. Picked up a couple more kids on the way. I was talking to everyone. "Hey, I'm Mason. What's up? How's it going?" And so we finally get to Kansas City. And so we pull into the parking lot, and the old man is like, he pulls in, puts it in park. He's like, "Well, I hope you all know what you're doing, and you're comfortable with your decisions, and this is what you want to do with your life." And so as he was saying that, I'm just like, "Quit talking, man. Like, don't say all those things." And I was like, "Thanks, okay, yeah." And he's like, "But young man, do you think you can wait up here with me for a second?" Me. Points at me. And I was like, "Are you serious? Really?" And I was like, "Yeah, sure." And he had another girl stay inside with me. And I think it was just to make sure that I wasn't uncomfortable or something. But he's like, "Can you stay too?" And I was like, "What did we do? Did we do something wrong?" And so everyone gets out, and I move up to the front row, and I'm like, "Oh my gosh, like, I'm gonna be the last one in. Are you serious?" And so I get up there, and when he turns around and looks, it's like he was looking at a ghost, or like he'd seen a ghost. I'm not kidding. And he had his hands like still. He turned around and he was like, "Young man, I don't know what it is right now, but I feel like the Lord is telling me that you're going to be an evangelist." And so as soon as he said that, because I'd been praying in my head, God, I was like, "What's going on? Is this what's meant to be? Am I supposed to be here? If not, let me know. Help me. Tell me this is not what you want for me, the Navy. Because I don't know what I want for myself. I don't think I have a purpose." So then he's like, "By the way, I think the Lord's telling me you're going to be an evangelist." So all the air inside my soul left. I was like, that's pretty sweet. Good timing too, man. And he's like, well, can I pray for you? I didn't say that, but that's what was going on in my head. I was just looking at him like a deer in the headlights. I was like, and he's like, can I pray for you? And I was like, yeah, man, pray for me. Like, I need all the prayer I can get. Like, this is nuts. What's going on here? And so he prays for me. And then I get out and I'm like, oh man, I'm like, the anxiety is going on. I'm like, what the freak, man? I'm already here. I'm supposed to sign up. This is not, I'm supposed to be an evangelist. What? You know, and I didn't like immediately hear his words and call them like, oh, he's telling the truth. But I was like, this dude is not toying with me. This dude didn't just do this to screw me up. He didn't just do this. He meant it. He literally meant it. And the way he looked and the way he was saying it, I believed him full-heartedly that God was telling him that. I don't know why. I feel like I know why now, but I didn't at the moment. And so then I get out. I go inside, whatever. That wasn't that night. We were just there to check in and whatever. So I go back to the hotel. I'm reading my Bible. I'm freaking praying. I'm not talking to anyone. We go in this area and there's video games and everyone's fiddle farting around. But I'm so mixed up in my head. I'm like, what's going on? I don't know what to do. And I just prayed. So then the next morning, we wake up 5:45. We have to go and we're gonna actually do it. They're gonna freaking touch every part of your body, check how your freaking arms work, make sure you're able to go and serve. And then at the end of that, you sign up. You sign your job. And so that all happens. I was one of the first ones to get in that morning. First ones. And I was one of the first ones to finish. And so then we get to the point where I'm in the office with a Navy sergeant, whatever rank he was. And he's like, all right, so the job you want to do is not available because you failed the depth perception test, the eye test. And I was like, no, like I can't. I was going to do special forces. I had to do special forces because I had to do something intense. And I was like, no, I can't. And he's like, well, you got to pick another job for now, and then maybe you can sign up for one later on. You can pick another job now, and then you can maybe get the one that you wanted later on. You redo the eye test. And I was like, okay. And I was like praying. I'm like starting to like, I don't think I'm supposed to be here. God's telling me I'm supposed to be an evangelist or something. And so then he's trying to pick the other job, and he's like, the computers are screwing up. I don't know what's going on. This is taking forever. I don't know what's going on. I don't know what's happening. He's like, this never happens. And I'm just like, this never happens? Great. And I'm like, this is God or something. Like, is God doing something right now? And so then I ended up calling my dad. I'm like, they're trying to get me to sign up for this job. And he's like, no, dude, you don't want to do that job. Don't take it. Tell them to screw off. Tell them that you don't want to sign up for the Navy and come home. And that's what I did. And he's like, come home and think about it. You don't have to sign up right now. And that's what I did. And so I came home. And so when I got home, it was so much had happened. That experience was so pivotal in my life. But and when it happened, I was like praying, like, what's meant for me? I don't know. And it was really hard for me to come home and tell my dad that I wasn't going to do it, because he was really excited, I think, about me joining. I think he was really happy about that. And so I had to tell him, oh, this isn't it. But I was scared to do that. Very scared. Because like I said, making him proud has been and will be one of my biggest goals in life. Make my dad proud. Because he's made me pretty proud to call him dad. So I want to be proud for him to call me his son. So then I ended up telling him this is not what's meant to be for him. And he's like, so what is, Mace? What's the next move?